I'm so glad to see you again.
할 일은 정말 너무 많습니다.
There are so many things I need to do.
예, 세계가 평화롭게 또한 두 번 다시 전쟁, 성폭력 없게 저는 활동가로 왔습니다. 세계의 여성분들이 다시 이런 일이 없도록 하기 위해서 열심히
Comfort women is a euphemism for hundreds of thousands of women who were forced into provide sexual services during the Pacific War and World War II. Japanese government created the system and operated and managed it. Japanese military was directly involved in trafficking these women into various war zones. The women had to endure sexual violence, rape, torture, forced abortion, and they were killed if they disobeyed. Women stayed in silence for 50 years and finally broke the silence in 1990s.
우리는 우리 가슴에 피가 삐져린다. 우리 속에 눈물과 피가 내려간다. 삐져리는 거 누구냐 하나.
Korean Americans in the United States led the nationwide campaign to pass the House Resolution 121, which was also called as a Comfort Women Resolution. And we invited Grandma Yong-soo Lee in 2007 to help the campaign to pass the resolution. And I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Grandma Yong-soo Lee, acting as her interpreter during the campaign.
Our resolution calls on the government of Japan to officially acknowledge and apologize for the appalling acts that Imperial Japan committed against the comfort women. The truth.
We believed that the success of the campaign will bring some changes in the Japanese government's attitude towards this issue, but the Japanese government did not change at all. So we felt like, there are more things to do to raise more awareness and to put pressure on the Japanese government to accept the responsibility for the comfort women issue. When I first met her, it was in 2007, and she was 79 years old. She was very energetic. She held herself in the dignified manner, but she was really courageous, and I could see that her pain whenever she gave the testimony, she had to relieve those experience and the painful memory. However, she never said no to the opportunity to spread the awareness in the United States.
여러분들이 힘을 주셔서 제가 이렇게 나와서 말할 수 있다는 거 여러분들께 감사하게 생각합니다. 고맙습니다. 감사합니다.
We formed Korean American Forum of California, KAFC, to bring a statue or memorial in California in memory of the comfort women victims. So we began to work with the city of Glendale, and we were able to unveil the Peace Monument in the Central Park of Glendale City. It was very heavily opposed by the history deniers, including a lot of those people back in Japan and Japanese politicians, as well as the Japanese Consul General in Los Angeles.
The story told by Koreans about the comfort women is not based on the fact.
Comfort ladies are nothing more than prostitutes.
anti-lobby was fierce, and many scores of them showed up at the Glendale City Council meeting and the hearing to oppose the installation of the monument. But the more they denied the history, the more understanding these city council members got, and the resolution was passed in 1-4, a vote, and the campaign was successful.
I do want to address some of the members of the audience that came here, though, and spoke to deny what happened. And I say this with a great deal of love and respect, but shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for denying what happened, and shame on you for the personal attacks on this woman, Grandma Lee, who had the courage to fly from another side of the world to come here to speak her truth.
So, what the Japanese government is doing, to declare a history war, actually, and the Japanese government is using its consul general's offices and embassies to deny the history and to sabotage any efforts to remember the comfort women in the U.S. and elsewhere. These absurd actions actually draw more media attention, and actually it works for our benefit because more people read the story on the media and they understand the issue better and they support the grandmas. What the grandmas are victimized again and again by this denial of the Japanese government, saying that they were voluntary prostitutes, meaning that they volunteered to be raped over and over again and live as a slave. That is another injury the Japanese government is inflicting on the grandmas. So what they really want is the recovery of their dignity and human rights. And the first step is to acknowledge that, okay, it was our fault, it was we that created the system and it was a war crime and we are responsible, and then say sorry in the very official and open manner so that the grandmas will hear it directly. And then we can talk about education and how to remember this issue and hand down to the next generation. Right now there is a demand from one of the survivors, Grandma Yong-soo Lee, to refer the comfort women issue in the International Court of Justice to finally get the judgment from a reputable UN organization that indeed it was a war crime, indeed it was a crime against humanity. If that happens, it'll be very difficult for the Japanese government or any deniers to continue to deny the histories. I hope many people will understand that and give support for Grandma Lee's demand and call for the referral of the comfort women issue to the ICJ.
1, 2, 3.